Welcome. Baiba has asked about temptations and how we can overcome them on the path of spiritual awakening. And whether we call these temptations or tests or obstacles or tendencies, I think we all have experience with that one way or the other. So I thought I'd talk a bit more about that today. The world as it appears does not really promote enlightenment or spiritual awakening. Much on the contrary. It tries to make you believe that you constantly need more to buy, to achieve, and to pay a lot of money for in order to be happy. So sometimes it can feel that you are swimming upstream against the currents, like the salmon. So for one moment, I invite you, instead of being so hard on yourself for falling back into temptations, acknowledge the courage it takes to do that. You are walking on a path that is not common and not always comfortable. And I commend you for that. And all of us. Where would the world be without that? Without beings like Jesus, the Buddha, Muhammad? Where would it all end? Even Jesus was tempted in the desert multiple times. Thankfully, he did not concede. So there is hope for all of us. But what are the temptations that we experience? And what are temptations altogether? Instead of taking the time to meditate on a daily basis or to do self-inquiry, we still prioritize other goals and interests in life. For instance, just simply going out with a friend, going to the cinema, indulging our senses and mind in other things instead. Or instead of following the pointings or the realizations that we made so clearly, we still fall back into ego, acting out of selfishness, treating other people in ways we don't really want to, or overall just acting in ways that we know the true self would never do. I am sure we can all find our own version of this. But it is important to remember there is nothing wrong with any of these things. Everything ultimately comes from consciousness, is consciousness. These things all exist so that we can enjoy them, experience them. And at some point, we naturally grow tired. We see through their ephemeral nature. So rather than a test that we need to pass, it's actually a very natural process. There is no devil outside of you, no one that you need to satisfy except for your own being. So rather than a failing, it is perhaps us delaying our discovery a little bit more, or accommodating other things instead of making this our priority. But there comes a time when this is not enough, when the pleasure that you derive from other quests becomes less and less satisfying. You realize that nothing really compares to the way you feel when you rest in your true being. All the riches of the world do not compare to this. Freedom, light, joy that you are. So you naturally want to stay here all of the time. It's like you own the most precious jewel, and someone offers you a piece of mud in exchange. So the power lies with you. One method, so to speak, that I find helpful when it comes to temptations, and let's say even on a very mundane level, you are craving for a food that you know is not good for you. Like a greasy piece of takeaway pizza, for instance. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but let's say you made the choice to be more healthy. Try to fast forward. It will take you, 5 minutes to eat this. But how will you feel for the rest of the day? Perhaps sluggish, tired, heavy. For 5 minutes of something entering your mouth and traveling through your guts. The same thing for other situations. For instance, how will I feel when I go out and get really drunk? The next day, what of value will that leave inside of me? Instead, if I only take 5 minutes to sit quietly by myself, rest in my being, how will that impact my life? How I interact with other people, how I live my life. So we don't just helplessly follow some animal instinct, but we employ discernment and put things into a wider perspective. But here comes my most important suggestion. Keep coming back here, like today. Put everything else aside and move your awareness inside to the beating of your heart, the eternal flow of breath, the place from where you can witness your thoughts and emotions, and beyond that, the space of just am. And the more you do this, the faster you can move through all these stages, so to speak, from breath to witness to am. In an instant, come right here into the heart of your being. What troubles you here? What temptations exist here? What separation between you and what you are searching for? Vollkommenheit, we call it in my native tongue. It is complete, without end. Is that not your best choice? Trust it. Drown in it. Give yourself up to it. And nothing will trouble you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please press like, and if you like, subscribe to my channel so we can stay connected. Have a wonderful day.